Hello, and thanks for watching another edition of ARFCOM News. Today I want to tell you about a confused, angry old man's plot to defeat the NRA, the Philadelphia DA who dropped half of his pending illegal gun possession cases, and the California sheriff who's getting sued for withholding records on red flag confiscations, plus lots more. But before we get started, I want to tell you about the fine, barrel-aged, single malt night vision products offered to you by our friends at TNVC.com, just like Mom used to make. If you like seeing stuff more than not seeing stuff, take a look at our sponsor, TNVC.com, your source for quality night vision gear to make you the bump in the night. Well, Uncle Naughty Hands isn't wasting any time. He came out swinging before even being inaugurated, saying he plans to defeat the NRA. Now, hang on, before you getting all excited, I don't think he means that the same way you do. I know a lot of you would like to see the NRA defeated, or at least dismantled and rebuilt, but I don't think that's what the doddering old fool means. When he says he wants to defeat the NRA, what he really means is he wants to defeat you. The senile old man said he wants to end the epidemic of gun violence in America, but he was not specific about how he plans to do that, nor did he comment on the decades-long decline in violent crime we have been enjoying since the 90s. He also didn't bother mentioning there were less than 14,000 firearm homicides in the U.S. in 2018. Now, maybe 14,000 sounds like a lot to you, and I won't deny that every human life is precious beyond measure. But bear in mind, this number includes justified self-defense, all fatal OIS incidents, whether or not they were justified, and even negligent discharges, and it still accounts for only 0.0043% of the people in this country. But medical malpractice kills 250,000 people in the U.S. every year. That makes doctors 18 times more dangerous than guns. For some reason, Sleepy Joe isn't promising to defeat the AMA or prattling on about malpractice epidemics. Hell, trips and falls kill more people than guns. Should we have to register our ladders and pay a $200 tax? You want to talk about an epidemic? Drug overdoses kill 67,000 people every year in the U.S. But the failed war on some drugs isn't something I really want to dive into right now. The point is there are numerous other things we could be calling an epidemic, and many of these issues are far more deserving of our attention. Are guns potentially dangerous tools? Absolutely. Should the President of the United States be talking about ways to address the root causes of violence in this country despite our enormous progress reducing violent crime? You betcha. But Dr. Dementia isn't interested in ending the mandatory minimum sentencing and other racist tough-on-crime policies he himself pushed, which have contributed to the poverty and cycle of violence we see in dense urban areas, is he? He's trying to ban sport utility rifles, when rifles of all types combined are less likely to be used as a murder weapon than bare hands. So, what should we do about it? Well, first off, Biden and Harris are establishment hacks too out of touch to realize there was a massive shift in opinions about guns over the last year. But your Congress critters might not be. Regardless of which team your senators and representatives play for, I want you to call them and tell them quite simply, you intend to vote them out if they support gun control legislation because it only harms our most vulnerable neighbors and family members. The wealthy, privileged elites are least likely to need a gun and most able to comply with draconian laws. But the poor, the elderly, and the infirm are victimized at far higher rates, and punitive taxes seem as though they are intentionally designed to place the fundamental human right of self-defense out of their reach. Of course, the NRA responded to Stranger Danger's statement, claiming they are the only thing standing between bad touch and the Second Amendment, but as you gentlefolk know full well, the NRA is not, in fact, the only organization fighting for your gun rights. Too many other dedicated 2A pipehitters are out there putting in hard work to list them all, but some of the ones that come to mind are the FPC, SAF, GOA, NAGR, JPFO, Pink Pistols, and all the various state-level citizens' defense leagues. If you aren't donating to at least one of these groups, you should pause this video right now and fix that. Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner has dropped almost half of the cases for illegal gun possession in the city of brotherly love, citing a lack of evidence.
And there was much rejoicing.
The former police commissioner of Philly PD, Richard Ross, claimed more crooks are carrying guns, leading to more arrests on illegal gun possession because they know the DA won't prosecute? I mean, I don't know about you, but I think it makes perfect sense to expect someone who really isn't supposed to have a gun in the first place wakes up in the morning and decides whether to strap on his gat based on the conviction rates for the crime he's planning to commit. Seems legit. Or maybe the PPD has been too aggressive in charging people with illegal gun possession. Maybe if they didn't refer cases to the district attorney's office without sufficient evidence to secure an indictment, those cases wouldn't get dismissed. In my less than humble opinion, there shouldn't be such a thing as illegal gun possession, or at least not for grown-ups. If a man is too dangerous to trust with a gun, he shouldn't be free to walk around and buy pool chemicals and power tools or stabby things. Sacramento County Sheriff Scott R. Jones has refused to comply with requests from the Firearm Policy Coalition for records relating to gun seizures, so the FPC has filed a lawsuit. Jones is impudently thumbing his nose at the California Public Records Act and the California Constitution. FPC Director of Strategy Adam Kraut said, "People have a right to know how the government is enforcing its laws and policies, especially in cases that involve the seizure of firearms and the suspension of fundamental constitutionally enumerated rights." What the FPC is trying to do here is review the Sacramento County Sheriff's handling of red flag laws over the last year. Government agencies in a free society must be totally transparent. Like, duh, right? You can't just give a group of people piles of guns, armored vehicles, and qualified immunity and expect them to police themselves. This isn't a banana republic. There could be many instances of wrongdoing by the SCSO, but one case the FPC is particularly interested in is the one where the SCSO seems to have seized a man's guns simply for being a racist prick. Andrew Casares isn't one of those, "Oh, that meme was a little racist, but it was dank as hell" kind of edgelords in your friends list. He's one of those shallow end of the gene pool winners who have a serious crush on the a-hole who shot up a church in Charleston. I mean, he idolizes that herpetic sore so much he made a fan club called the Bull Patrol because that haircut is just so damn sassy. Captain America lives to punch douche nozzles like this. So don't get it twisted. I don't want to defend the racist prick, but so far as we can tell, it doesn't appear he broke any laws. Being a racist prick makes you a loser, but it doesn't make you a criminal. It is, and it ought to be, illegal to advocate specific acts of violence against specific people or groups of people. If someone told you guys to pick up a baseball bat and go beat up every starbelly you see, that would be illegal, and it should be. But it's not illegal to hate people. It isn't even illegal to wish bad things to happen to a person, no matter how trashy that is. So unless the SCSO can prove this fart smeller communicated a threat or incited violence, I don't think they have any business seizing his guns. Of course, had he actually done that, they wouldn't need to seize his guns either, because they could just arrest him. And that's the real problem with red flag laws. The SCSO served a warrant and took a handgun from Casares, but as far as I can tell, this guy is still free to dig up the guns he buried in the woods, or borrow a gun from one of his fan club pals, or rent a truck. If he's such a threat, why is he still walking around? Industry news! I'm sure you folks know the Poverty Pony has been limping along since its bankruptcy in 2016, which is why CZ is involved in negotiations to buy Colt. The parties involved seem to have reached an agreement on the major terms, and they hope to have the details ironed out by the end of this month. Does that mean you could someday buy a 6920 made by CZ? Who knows?
The shadow knows.
Fabrique Nationale has announced their new 509 LS Edge. You might ask, what is the point of a longer barrel in 9mm? But I would point out a longer slide and barrel also mean a longer sight radius, which normally results in better shooting for most people. Then again, am I wrong to expect a long slide model to feature something longer than a 5-inch barrel? Maybe the National Shooting Sports Foundation can establish an industry standard for barrel lengths for subcompact, compact, full-size, and long slide versions of pistols so we can all be on the same page. Standardization is a good thing. The 509 LS Edge is a polymer frame striker-fired pistol which accepts a 17-round magazine. It has suppressor height fiber optic sights, a flat-faced trigger, optic cut, and speed holes in the front of the slide to, make it faster or something. It does not come with a threaded barrel though, which seems like an odd choice to me. This gun seems almost perfect as a suppressor host, and FN does offer a threaded barrel in their 509 tactical line, but for some reason, they never consulted me during the design phase for this gun. MSRP is $1,500. Well, friends, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoy watching these things because I sure like making them for you. If you want to help us keep bringing you banger content like this, please support the folks who support us. Not only does TNVC.com carry a wide selection of low-carb, fat-free, non-GMO night vision products, they also have mounts, lights, and all sorts of other gear to make you the bump in the night. And if you want to support us more directly, you can buy fly shirts like this one in our Teespring store. Or, if you want to try your luck and win your choice of rad shirt from our Teespring store, post a comment containing the phrase, "Oh, that little guy? I wouldn't worry about that little guy," in the YouTube comments, and I will arbitrarily and unilaterally choose the best one. I love you.